Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, there was a little bit of difficulty this morning getting things set up since I'm at a hotel. So, let's make sure that I have sound everywhere. Yep. Okay. So, today, this site is called Take What Rings True. And I want to talk today about the scanner, the living records of Akashic Records. So, mm, I want to let you know that you can visit Akashic Records and see and experience Akashic Records. So, how do you do that? Well, a long time ago, forever and ever, uh, God has his own memory, and his memory includes what we call Akashic Records. Now, you have your chart that you wrote for this lifetime, and you follow that chart. But you have many, many possibilities of what you're going to do. So, say there's an accident and it's a fender bender, and you just go, okay, fine, whatever. I won't do that again. I'll go get it fixed and get on with my life. And somebody else has that same experience and they get upset because that guy shouldn't have run into them or they shouldn't have done whatever they did to cause that accident. And they mull over it and they keep going over it and they get angry and they get upset and they play that scene over and over and over again. That's a different experience. Instead of getting on with your life, you just keep on going. Hi, Debbie. Nice to see. One thing about recording on YouTube and Facebook. On Facebook, I can see who's talking. There's supposed to be something on YouTube too, but I can never see it. Anyway, thank you for visiting with me. Whoever, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or listening to the recording. So, my name is Teresa Micheletti, in case I didn't say that. And this is called Take What Rings True. So, Akashic Records and the scanner. When you pass over to the other side, you go to the Hall of Wisdom, also called the Hall of Justice. And when you're there, you review your lifetime. Now, there's no one there that's a judge. God does not judge you. God appreciates you for experiencing for him. And you were created to be an experiencer for him. So he's not going to ding you because you experienced for him. Now, we all have horrible reactions to things, and that was a lesson. Go on with your life. God loves you no matter what. He created you, you are his child, and he loves you. You can't do anything to make God stop loving you. That's just the way it is. So accept it. God loves you. Okay, scanners. So you exit this lifetime, you go to the Hall of Wisdom or the Hall of Justice, whatever you want to call it, and you review your life. You sit on a nice bench, and a scanner comes up from the ground, and you can see your life. And you can go fast forward, you can go back, you can skip. It's sort of like a recorder, which it is. And you can review whatever you want. If it's the end of your life, then you're reviewing your whole lifetime. You usually bring angels with you, guides with you. You don't have to. It can just be you. And when you get down on yourself, because it's like, oh, cats, I can't believe I did that. Then there's an angel who has your whole life record and knows your life record and will say, no, look, you helped someone here. You made someone feel better here. So they don't let you get depressed because you've looked at your lifetime. So when you die or when you graduate, you go to the Hall of Wisdom and you look at your life. And angels help you and guides. My friend Sylvia Brown, when she would go through life and something weird would happen or ridiculous or embarrassing or funny, she would say, flag that. So that she can see it in her Akashic records. It's like a paper clip or some kind of a pointer that would allow you to go back to that point in time. So it's like you could have a slideshow. Look at all the funny things that happened in my life, or look at all the embarrassing things that happened in my life. And people even do one-upmanship. Oh no, I've got one that's worse than that, or I've got one funnier than that. It's not a big deal. This is one lifetime in millenniums. So don't get down on yourself for things that happen in your life. It's an experience, and then go on with it. I've done a session, a broadcast on life as a play. Life is a play. And Raheem, one of Sylvia's spirit guides, described it as a game. And he said, we take it far too seriously. This is just one little tiny, tiny point in time. And the whole reason for incarnating is to learn, to gain knowledge. And it's okay if you're not perfect. God's perfect, you're not. It's okay. So, Akashic Records are a real thing. And you can look at them on your screen, but you can also go to the Hall of Remembrance and step into any point in history, any point in your lifetime. It's, I think they had them at Great America. I know they had one at Disneyland where you would go into this room, go in the middle of the room, and there would be a movie all around you, 360 degrees. So you're in the scene. Well, you can do that. You can step into a scene in your lifetime or any lifetime. And the whole Hall of Remembrance is if you are having trouble with something, say you became addicted to something, or maybe you're having trouble with the relationship and you just can't get over it. You go to the Hall of Remembrance, find out when the starting point of that was, and review it. You can also go to a member of council and they'll help you understand what happened. So that's the Hall of Remembrance. But you can also go there to step into a point in time. It isn't just to remember things. So on Earth, we have linear time. And I'm sure you remember people saying, there is no time. Every time is God's presence, which is hard for us to understand on Earth because we're linear in time. Now, tomorrow, yesterday, we all have this linear timeline. But it's not true on the other side. So you can step into any point at any lifetime by going to Akashic Records. So the Hall of Remembrance, one of Sylvia's spirit guides named Raheem talked about stepping into a point in history. He was trying to find out something from a specific time period. And when he stepped into that lifetime, he stepped into the middle of a buffalo run and there were Native Americans, buffaloes, and he got trampled by buffaloes. He didn't get hurt, but he said it was frightening and there was no pain, but it was scary. And he believes that one of the Native Americans did see him because Native Americans are spiritual. Not all of them, just like not all regular people are spiritual either. So can you imagine you're in Native American times running buffalo, and all of a sudden you see this turbaned man running between the buffalo. Now that would be a little odd, and it would be disconcerting to a primitive man. And Raheem said that he thought that that's one reason many cultures have thought that there were certain gods, because a person they saw entering their environment was really checking Akashic Records. Raheem said that they used to go to Akashic Records all the time, and then they gave up on it because they realized they couldn't intercept anything. You can't stop Abraham Lincoln from being murdered by John Wilkes Booth. That's just not going to happen. So you're not going to change history when you time travel in the living Akashic Records. So you can't go back and change your own life. You can go back and see your own life, experience your own life by stepping into it, but you can't change it. Can you change what will happen later? Yes. Maybe you want to become a ballerina. That's assuming you're not a sumo wrestler, maybe you want to become a historian, you want to become an author. You can do that further on in your life, but you're not going to change what happened before. So you also have your option line, and that you can help by writing it in. Okay, so the Hall of Wisdom holds thousands of people at the same time. You can go in and scan your life very quickly because there is no time. So, what would take a whole lifetime, that's not going to take a whole lifetime to look at it on the other side because there is no time. You go very quickly. Your brain is so much smarter on the other side. You can hold so much information. Hey, Anna Smith, whatever your last name is, I know you are. Nice to see you. Anyway, okay, Hall of Records and Hall of Records is the written ones, the written Akashic Records. We're talking about looking at the scanners at the Hall of Wisdom or the Hall of Justice, if you'd rather call it that. So, if you have trouble understanding something in your life after you review your life, or right now you can go and review your life, you can go to the scanner now, astrally project there, meditate there, ask to go there in your sleep, do hypnosis with someone and have them guide you there, and you can pull up the scanner and see any part of your life. And then if you have questions, you can go to council, the sort of ruling body, the Senate of the other side, and they can help you understand what you don't understand about your lifetime. Now, they're not going to show you your future. You wrote in your chart what you want to have happen, but they're not going to show you your future because you decide what's going to happen. And one choice can make you follow a totally different path than you're on now. And they don't want to color what you choose to do. So you have your life chart and what likely is going to happen. And then you have all these probabilities that can go off in other directions, tangents, according to what you choose to do. Just like I was talking about the accident, that person who chooses just to like, okay, fine, I had a fender bender, I'll get on with life. Or the person who spends 2 months swirling around in those ideas, that changes your path. The person who's going forward, they're going forward and getting on with their life. Been there, done that, don't need to review my fender bender anymore. And the other person who's swirling in it, they've sort of stopped their life and they're not moving on, they're spinning around in that experience. So you need to be in the present and move forward instead of spinning around on stuff you can't change. So if you need help and advice about what to do, you can go to Akashic Records and talk to counsel. You can talk to your spirit guide. If you can't do that when you're astrally traveling or in meditation, then contact a hypnotist who can guide you to the other side to communicate with counsel or spirit guides or master teachers. I can do that, and I have a whole network of people who can help you do that. Okay, so in the Hall of Wisdom, one time there was a major catastrophe in India, and tens of thousands of people came at once. I think it was like 40,000 people came at once to the other side. So it was like all hands on deck, not just the usual orientators who would, help you transition to the other side. So anybody who was available came and helped. So there's thousands and thousands of people at the Hall of Wisdom at the same time. And people started noticing people who were pleased with their life, reviewing their life, were people who thought about their life, reflected on it, and programmed for change. So people who wrote universe letters, and I did a broadcast on universe letters if you don't know what they are. It's like programming for what you want. Also, people who meditated with a specific intent, people who wrote letters, people who did drawings of what they wanted their life to be or dramatized in their mind or did imitative magic. Those were the people who were more pleased with their lifetime. So when they died and reviewed their life, they were feeling better about their life than people who did not. And that includes the holy people who spent all their time praying. They were not as successful in being pleased with their life as the people who were very simplistic and had written or even carved out what they wanted to have in their life. So consider writing universe letters or drawing what you want or writing. I know I've talked about this. One of my friends writes her script. It's like, okay, this is how I want today to go, especially if you're going on an airplane. Don't lose my luggage, whatever it is, be positive. So think about that. Spend some time reflecting. We were told at one time to think about maybe 9 o'clock, because that's a Trinity hour, 3, 6, 9. It's a Trinity hour, but it could be any time. Reflect on your life and decide, how do I want my life to go forward? How do I want to flow with life? Okay, then what do I want? Then write it down or play it in your mind like a play, a drama. So if you do that programming, it makes your life easier. It has a flow. You can also talk to your spirit guides. If you have not given them permission to read your mind in this lifetime, you might consider that. But if you let your spirit guides know, especially writing, they can see what you wrote. They know what you want to happen, and they can help you move towards that. If you just let things happen to you, that's okay. But if you swirl around in the negativity, that's not okay. That makes your life harder. Now, Akashic Records. If you go to the scanner, you can scan your life, but you can also scan other people's lives, Uncle Harry, Grandma Sarah, whoever. But there's a privacy act. People can block access to their records, and you can block access to certain sections or to your records. Say you had a horrible experience and you don't want everybody seeing it. Then you can say, this is private, no one can see it. Sometimes people, I told you about flagging. Sylvia Brown would flag things so she could have like a slideshow to show her friends, relatives, whoever. But Akashic Records are something you can go and study, and you learn through other people's experiences. So you learn vicariously through other people's experiences. Or maybe you had a horrible time in a relationship. You had a horrible time with a boss. Well, you can go to Akashic Records and ask to see similar lifetime experiences and see how they handled them. Or go talk to counsel and ask them how to handle something. So you can get advice on the other side now while you're in life. And the same 4 ways, ask to go when you're asleep and remember. Go astrally project there. Do meditation, or have a hypnotist help you to get there. You can do self-hypnosis if that works for you. So there's also scanners that are like giant boards, like a screen, that your guide can keep track of your life. They also have like these little iPads where they can keep track of you. So they could be at a party and they can also be watching you on the iPad. It's not an iPad, but you know what I mean. So there's technology on the other side, and they do keep track of you. And your guides and your relatives and your friends can come and check and see how you're doing, what's happening to you. And they can also pray for you, which they do a lot, especially if you ask for them to. I remember I was having a horrible time with a dark entity who was preventing me from doing stuff. And I said, I want all of my ancestors to help me with this. I want you to pray. I want you to intercede in any way you can, et cetera, et cetera. So guides and angels can see what we charted in life. They can't change our future, but they can give us infusion, ideas of where to go forward. You can ask for them to give you advice. Doesn't mean you follow it. But our reactions to life, our experiences change our life path. and our choices change our life path. There's so many possibilities, so many probabilities. When you're writing your chart on the other side, there's uh, a big screen, and they'll play out. Okay, if I do this, if I marry this guy who's a narcissist, then what happens? If I don't marry this guy who's a narcissist, then what happens? And you play out how you want your life to go and make the choices of this is how I think it's going to go. This is my plan, my life plan. But then if you choose something else, then your life goes off in a different direction, which is why they don't show you your life chart as you plan it in the future, because you have choices, and the choices change your opportunities, they change your future. So if you would like to check your Akashic Records, then go to the scanner in the Hall of Wisdom, or go to the Hall of Remembrance and step into the 360 degrees. Or you want to know what the Colosseum was like in Rome in the olden days, you can just go to the Hall of Remembrance, step into that time period, and experience what it's like 360 degrees. You're not changing history, but you are experiencing it up close and personal, a living Akashic Records. To me, that's amazing. Of course, I live on Earth, which is more finite than the other side. In fact, they consider when we come into life like a death. And some people sort of mourn. They'll even stand there where you go down the chute, which is like a slide coming into life. And they'll like be forlorn for a little while because you've gone away from them. And then when you come back to the other side, people are celebrating. You have a big party. Everybody's so excited. Everybody's happy for you because you're finally back into life. It's like you're reborn into the other side. So if you're on Earth, you have one perspective. If you're on the other side, you have a totally different expectation and experience. So I suggest you check out the scanner, either the 360-degree one in the Hall of Remembrance, or go to the actual scanners at the Hall of Wisdom and check it out. You can also go to Hall of Records and you can read your scroll. But I think it's much more effective to actually see it, go backwards and forwards in the scanner in the Hall of Wisdom, or step into it 360 degrees if you want to check something out. Or you want to know about Aunt Susie's life or Uncle Jerome, whoever it is. And as long as they have not blocked it off for people not to be able to see it, then you can check it out. Maybe you have a brother or a cousin and you want to know, why the heck did they act like that? Well, maybe you can go check the chart and find out. Check the scanner. Why did they do that? What was the point of entry? Why did they react like that? So, hi, Colleen. It's nice to see you guys. I actually like to know people are here. People are actually watching. And I appreciate the people who watch on recording. That's good too. So if you have any questions, you can put them in chat or on Facebook. I forget what that's called. That's chat. Well, anyway, the comments. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being with me. And I will see you next Wednesday at 10:30. Hopefully everything will be working. I'll be back home by then. So, bye. Thanks for joining me. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Somewhere. Here we go.